Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will go through all the different rewards that you will be able to get through the new Timewalking event for Battle for Azeroth. I already covered most of these items in some of my other videos, but this time at least we got the confirmation of which items exactly will be available through BFA Timewalking. So let's start with the two new mounts and also the two new battle pets. As you can see, we have the reins of the Moonlit Night Saber and also the reins of the Ivory Savage Mane. So these two will cost, as always, 5,000 of the different Tamra badges each, and you will be able to buy them either on your Horde character or your Alliance character, so that it doesn't really matter. And so just to show you, that's what the Night Saber will look like, which is pretty nice. I do like the color of the eyes, but overall this is a pretty basic mount. And then you have this one, and again, I think this one looks a little bit cooler because I think the eyes and everything is even better. But yes, these are two pretty basic mounts, but still pretty nice overall. And also this one actually has a really interesting mount special, like when you're summoning it. So as you can see, you will have all of that, which I think is pretty cool because we don't have a lot of these specific animations for some of these ground mounts. And next to that, we also have these two pets, the Flotsam Harvester and Lil Dusty. Both of them will cost 2,200. And as you can see, this is the Harvester one right here, which is pretty cool overall. And then, of course, the mini Brutosaur pet, which is also really, really nice. So these are the mounts and pets you will be able to get with BFA Timewalking. After that, we have a few different ensembles. So here we have this one and also this one. And I think both of them are actually really nice. I especially like the fur, and I think this is a pretty good transmog, especially if you are again into all these type of little piratey transmog sets and everything. And then we have these two right here, which are honestly very boring. I mean, these ones are very basic. There's not much happening, so not as interesting. So each of them will cost 2,500 for the different smugglers attires, and then 2,000 for the other ones. And finally, we also have this Time Lost Tempest Cutters, which is this helm right here. And I think this one looks really, really nice. And just to show it exactly as a Transmog item, so let me just go here. As you can see, it looks like that. And then you can use it normally on any of your characters. At some point, it said only Pandaren, but now it has been changed. And so, as you can see, it's actually a pretty big crown, and it looks really, really badass. So this one is definitely going to be a very interesting item for a lot of different Transmog sets. Then after that, we have a bunch of other weapons that will also be available. So here, for instance, as you can see, we have this bow. We also have this dagger, this over dagger. We have one axe, one mace, sword, a polearm as well, staff, a few two-handed items as well, maces, axe, different swords, some held enough end items, and also two shields. Most of them will be between 1,200 to like 2,000, depending on the quality of the item and all of that. And so these are the different models. So again, here we have, for instance, the bow. We then have one of the daggers, the over dagger. This is the mace. This is the one-handed sword. This is the over mace. Then this is the polearm. And the polearm is actually really, really nice. It's actually a very long polearm. And so here, as you can see, we have, for instance, the bow, we have the two daggers, the two one-handed maces and axes. Then we also have the one-handed sword. We have this big polearm, and this one is actually really, really cool. As you can see, this is a pretty big weapon, and it looks really awesome. Even though it's not like a very massive weapon, it's a pretty small sword and everything. It's very thin, but it looks really badass, and I think for a lot of transmogs it's going to be perfect. So this is a very interesting one. Then we also have this staff right here. We have the two-handed mace, this one as well, then the different swords, and the two different held enough items, which I think are pretty interesting, even though, again, I'm not the biggest fan in general because usually you don't really see them a lot. But I think these ones are very unique and very cool. And then, of course, we have this shield and this other one. And this one, even though on the image it doesn't look really cool. It actually is really cool. As you can see, this is the same shield almost as Varian, and I think not Varian, of course, as anyone. And this is an awesome shield, especially if you have, for instance, the full edit set from BFA for Alliance players. It's gonna match this shield perfectly. And then there is also a few leveling gear that apparently you will be able to get through some of the Timewalking dungeons, I believe. So for instance, you have this one, which is a recolored version of some of the existing stuff. Same here, same with this one. So nothing really exciting. As you can see, this is just these ones right here. And then you also have a few cloaks. So again, here, these are just recolored versions or like variants or longer version of some existing cloaks. So for instance, this one is just a longer version of an existing one. This one is just a recolor. This one is another variant. And this one is another recolored version. But overall, some of them are pretty cool. I especially love this one and this one. And actually, I think this cloak right here will go pretty well with the different Arati and symbols that we have in the War Within. So definitely something that you might be able to use as well for these different transmog sets. So overall, these are all the different items that we know so far we will be able to get. As always, probably in 1 or 2 years from now, they will add more items. But for now, at least, these are the ones you will be able to start farming in patch 11.1.7 when the BFA Timewalking event will be up. Again, as always, the vendor will only be there during that period. So make sure that if you want to grab some of these rewards, you do it while the event is up. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos. And in the meantime, I wish you all a great day. Bye.